lights are red, then battle commence. All follow you.
Two Wheels is proudly powered by Broadlink, delivering serious bandwidth for serious business. Welcome to the Brother News Desk. This time around, Bill Hunter gets to test ride a new model from BMW. It's called the R9T. Let's join him on the road.
Commuting is a funny old business, normally done by this. But BMW have come up with a new, should I say commuter, which is this. Called an R9T. Now the 9 is spelled N-I-N-E and not the digits 90, so it's the R9T. May look a little strange to BMW, that's because they gave the bike to a famous designer in America called Roland Sands. Now he builds all sorts of weird creations, so BM gave him, well, a GS, I suppose, because that's what the engine is, and told him to make a funky retro type bike. And after hours of fiddling and tweaking, this is what he came up with, the R9T. I'm on the fence. I'm not convinced. If I was given an enormous checkbook by BMW and saying, build us something special and weird, that I'd come up with this. But don't you think they should have gone a little further? Because all I can see is a GS motor, which has not been detuned, may I add, and makes 100 rear wheel horsepower and 100 Newton meters at the wheel. I know because I've had it on the dyno, which will catapult it to the far side of 230 k's an hour. So it's certainly not slow. But when I have a good look around this, I still think they could have done more. But these are normal upside down 46mm Sachs forks. And if you think you've seen them before, you have, because they are the same fork, exactly the same fork, and exactly the same mounting thing for the radial brakes as found on the S1000 RR race bike and indeed the S1000R naked bike, which we will test in the near future. But they have absolutely no internals whatsoever, so unfortunately you can't adjust them. No trains ever come along until you start filming, and then you get a train. Back end, very familiar. The old big fat shaft drive still goes up and down and rocks and weaves with the motor to add character, so BMW say. Mr. Roland Sands has obviously been busy with the seat and this weird bracket thing. But I must say, because it is at least 30 kilos lighter than the big chubby GS, it really does handle well, this thing. Normal forks, very flickable, does wheelies but clears off. Actually quite an accomplished little ride, and dare I say, a little feisty to boot. BMW is without doubt one of the most safety-conscious motorcycle manufacturers in the world. And they've obviously thought about the R9T because it has ABS on it for those that like ABS, which can't be switched off. So don't worry, you'll never lock the front wheel up in adverse conditions. But what they have done with the R9T, like a lot of manufacturers are doing now, is taking away all the electronics. So it has no sport mode or rain mode or whatever mode, no traction control, none of all that stuff, which to be honest, irritates me to death. They call it the pure riding experience, like the Moto Guzzi V7's the same, the Kawasaki Z1000, this one. There's a lot of bikes now going with no electronics, and the R9T is no exception. Claudio, you are really annoying me now. There'll be no trains ever coming through here, ever. Well, what's that one now? There's another one. There. So we've seen a lot of trains, and I mentioned commuting, and I mentioned lack of electronics. But it does have a little computer that tells you how economical this bike is. And to be honest, it is the most economical big ball I've ever ridden. I've had it down to 4.3 litres per 100, or even better. And that in old language is 60 miles to the gallon. I think it's incredible for a bike of this size. So it's ideal for commuting, a bit more than a train. Definitely cheaper to run than a train, that's for sure. The R9T is incredibly easy to ride. I think even a new learner or old guy, young guy, middle-aged guy could get on this and fly up and down the road straight away. The clutch action is light, the gearbox is fantastic for a big fat shaft drive thing. So daily commuting, yet again, are so easy. Anyone could ride this. Practicality through the roof. And don't forget, folks, these big fat cylinders in winter will keep your little shins and ankles incredibly warm. And it doesn't even say that on the brochure, just made that up. So let's sum up the little R9T. Quite enjoyed it, very easy to ride, very easy to live with on an everyday basis. Still think Roland Sands could have done a bit more and not gone to the pub so early. Would I buy one? Maybe. It's certainly different, quirky, looks great. BMW riders will obviously lap it up. It'll fit nicely with his old classic 3 Series BM in the garage. And if you do want one, get yourself to a BMW dealer right now, have a cup of tea and buy an R9T.